Ada orang justru kemana nak keluar bang yo pat ban yo skoi ke episode ni ka podcast jongi yo thank you KibaMan Ka Sngi every day. Ta kane ka episode ni yo ban Shillong ban kran Kyrmenskhem Lyngdoh. Te Kyrmenskhem ide wal apas exam si bon ba exam ide kita kat mai kano kita
na top 26
apas exam do kan tu exam dah pas.
pas weekly na kita mau complete interview dan tahu
Kalau jadi exam pas te kalau kita ba pala ba kuat sam khana ji ni te shopping stang ni ai kble ka sponsor jongi ka GM Suzuki Malaysia te kemen tak tahu susah mau itu dia beliau ka jaka sa jong pi ba stay jong pi bispara ba everything about Hungry Bowl. Are you hungry? Don't worry. Order from Hungry Bowl on Swiggy or Zomato or call them at 690-90-38908. Hungry. Visit JN Suzuki to grab your new two-wheelers. From the ever-reliable access to the sporty Avenus and the comfortable Berkman. Also get the Gixxer bike series and the all-time adventure bike V-Storm. Visit now to get amazing offers. Best of all, JN Suzuki has a track record of being the best after-sales service in India.
dan yung kong extension nga di Kyrmenskhem Lyngdoh dan betangan setup tulisan dan ya dan kung language para mga balikong tay para baal taros sindang bati sewi para sindang yung makado bati may pati la krab aslam ne ado 2014
kung lagi JM kena Shillong Australia na pagbuat Shillong ni
di sini ada yang jual tambah lomba ini kanang sih tambah ngambil sih berarti kita tadi long ni mah nomor bar email mencuai perlanggan long buat nak ayu ke mama ke mencuai email long ni kong tadi di nyam trade email bat ila ayu kan kelaku stand por buat bat dia mayat kan macam mayat yang ni lah doktor saya mereka kan tentupan memperiksa jadi shop dan jadi shop entah mana dah 25 plus years esal bercerita tentang listening lah shift no station yang merasa morning last jika long entah mususi nama lah head asan ben apa jadi shop tu perlu ki bayar cina senang di balik pulang majority di bahasa street Thai Terbetul tong listening dan shift sila long dam
long kung sa ayuran
enjoy happy ani yo la kai para lajan ni the jingasen udang wet sejan
saya
tu saya tadi
te porong ki long mai pa ba la te pino wasang ni so amba possible exam boleh dong shop long kena pasbat ba long kot bani na long na tar mar bun ki ni ki dah step kena pas Malaysia buat pilih kena usukang dia kamera boleh kat pising dan
amno
lompat dah jisa
jisa na do dang ready long tahu perlu je ke long akal smart imo ke on ni saya akon beta first second kita di dua si mah
pada jingko aku ni dapat
atau long na do suai long competitive long healthy competition lagi long stenata during class perbarang lagi tu class 1 dan class 2 dulu long why bet smart kan jadi na do class 11 onwards dan before long on global long the slack show asdang jadi tu kawai long bawa asdang find my interest in music atau kan long speaking atau itu dah first studio in Bajing Arab jumpa lagi way Gregory they introduced me kan jaga first studio dan nanggo bentuk dan long salad after that so I started making music and all but the thing is but the studies on the other hand dah akhir tu until that the jalan kat ba class 11 12 from like solid injection I feel the maths semua class 1 ni yang tadi terus juga nak kali for subject kan lada fikir dia aku nak lepas kan ni exam semua macam benda nak fit tak ada tapi beliau pun sen pakai beliau ya nak and you expect about thing about most of the time you show by apa kamera you set that no hana the human that so it happen in that
kesuban kerja ke first studio anak lihat tu siapa lagi kat tahu dia buat mana nama film dia nama dia juga juga mah
di sana duduk kelas 11 12 ni nak buat pursue long music engineer, sound engineer. Tapi jangan apa lo kita ni kini yung macam fluid nanti plus so long some members of the family lo kami pun kan kita not from my family ma mar imay kawai from imay they number she's very supportive of everything we do ta nadu para kadu long into ayo kan wala she's a single mama long nadu para kaki pa pangatang kat south na ni ro long tam la happen la but provide any have and let away the year ko in bala but kawai ba she never tells a problem stay ni long I send ha you should be i-trace somebody long to fulfill our needs and all.
Why kung nung kaya since she got hot ipag-face last po na ba tajang ta
Katabi long ipa do por ko klan ng dong 14 day pon pagkatapos siyang class na your esophageal cancer no if I'm not mistaken. During that time lo laro ng class lo dan 14 15 long I wasn't so serious about the disease. I thought it was just like some okay disease, and later on I found out that he had cancer and had choking a lot. So
lâu nữa that
so we started
you not like you're feeling do you remember those things
starting again on that day when he died too. Actually, I was so mad, I was so angry that no. But you probably and I noticed by me then I'm like Jackson. I found that to be only long shop hospital that long during that stage long itan should have chemo da by me biang magkakibang daga chimpang and dapat on coming back from school in class 9 to parang I was expecting to see him but he was not there. But I'm not tongue and having log close to me the but and all that. The when me I came to know I was used by that card and I didn't believe that. That I do like that. And just imagine at that time for my class, I had the audacity to say long I take for commentarity, like I was in that stage of confusion, shock and that basically happened like this. Imagine I was about to go to my friend's birthday on the day my father was long the next year he was about to leave the day and that was very
kaya katukapor financially must have been tough day kalau email alam marway kaya berdiam school ga bam saka hospital bills kay lang mas matawid ba but
kawai long hard we party they come so to from there but here yung post pian no they klachan shong time after they yo him down to shilo kindia mo ini tama kam date hand ta about that they should jaran kan by paro ila can show bisa email inang kan man pinyata very grateful for my mother na mardonde kay baila na yung ngiro ng pwede talaga mga kaniga position ng ta
kaya katukapor ba yung if ang wait kaya yung song was it during that time of Hirai that gave tatang ko na a better life for your family for you you've got to go now what gave you that life on it thought you exam bro on nung Rios
nung comparative na ito forward I think so it was after college I started doing all of that the pag kumaong may siya por lit class 10 11 12 to adapt to maong field maps on that at that time I was still in that sad depressed theater and plus I don't know in Shrav there was this one that you should know and you share a name it's okay for the public would like I was sexually assaulted by one of my neighbors, but I won't mention. That time it was during when I was 7, between the ages of 7 to 10. Like at that time, who would know about long, what you and all that.
I don't understand
Yeah, I didn't understand, so I just went along with it. Then ski dala kang here, and I started to realize. The way I cope is like I don't think about all of this and they but then have if you break cut but that thing it's not right so the I was going through my battles my demons and whatnot but after 11 12 then I started taking tuitions getting more like during class 10 so I thought why not just take tuitions to provide to help out for the family then I started taking tuitions and my students pass But initially it was rough no atau ba suki-suki pa kin ka flu ta.
Okay, pendidikan.
Long I took maths and science tamo specifically maths yung nasyong pa ikina na do class Nikong nas tang siya class 9 class 10 behadian pa nas daw siya na do class 5 sa do tangbin.
So you are coping with on that
With teaching.
also at the same time with lesson and
Music depression dan ngali music at the same time dapat ting pa like ting siya nung saturate ka market or something for music and it was like there's too many people doing the same thing.
kalau kau experience music graduate professional lagi class lihat
Nikong tama like the journey began bawa ang baru introduce parlok ang ina dan nikong ta pagbakas na ta kalong gajna ang nasutan na obviously nikong wa try yung to 18 pa kung I thought why not take it as a challenge one then we started doing all of that kan the suki kan bit na during the remix contest super during COVID macam di Brian then I job ni ale lama itu parang natin ni pandit di macam ni na job lah begitu bagi lepas kan lo kuat kan tengah long time asal improve kita tang ba charan khat ba hadir buat pat na I started to realize ba no semi datang pada film I was thinking about what if it doesn't pay the bills and that
no safety
no security. And even though despite that the dance shows here and there like for example you attend during winters the Dominican festivals you attend rock actually at least I earned 3-4 came on at least so I took tuitions and did music as well.
Tiap kau yang masuk angkat ni ni pun dia keluar pas sekolah exam. Dapat balik modern ada pas exam buat datangnya ke ini ke itu asal dapat tinggi ada kita dong seriously kan how do you do it nama kiwan ki beri orang asal hana kira mbak si orang kau pas मैं आप संग बैठूंगा मैं आप serious में दिन क्लिक पर ऑप्शन था कुछ टेक्निक इस बुन पास सकता हूँ
so speaking of that not glad keep पर ऑप्शन show one point two actually it was my friend Kevin who inspired me wow when go back in the competitive exams no matter he knew I had potential like I feel like I had depression anxiety plus long very low self-esteem that sometimes I might appear happy yung deep down so tuang sa to ki problem ki yo why not try for these competitive exams, especially the UPSC? After giving careful thought, as the process and as the work information, then I can prepare with competitive exams that you do. I had some of my savings for tuition and ako, and siya plan to scooty. The scooty, but particular cut it's just do it, because in the end it will be off. Then as I'm prepared. Initially, hinalati and plus like I didn't have that proper strategy. Initially, asam create bun kita. So kani kita di starting point to to perbalik ay the first September expect
first September what is that
actually PSC. Initially, I had a lot of confidence that it turned out to be overconfidence can. Then I failed by 15 marks and it felt so bad that first exam ko mga OSCD bago matwa ito UPSC then I had 1 year of preparation and I felt like I told you I felt overconfident plus malay curious and whatnot here you become my S you become this that initially that's all an illusion anyways to exam like I did good actually but the thing is I messed up my marking so that's why that thing was very important and not to be overconfident so I feel by 15 marks in what people got done but to
how did you feel
long devastated because why because like I had one thought in my mind like if I feel what will my family think of me and plus now one that I didn't button my own because I had that ayam for 2-3 days I was so depressed so do both then initially I did another exam same thing happened then another same thing happened
plus sana si Venus
tagging other people would think that I'm just wasting time come so real and all this and all that then after that I started strategizing properly then I heard of a free coaching as well. I went there more. Like initially, I didn't thought of going for coaching naman bang kainan na diro labang. And the main purpose was like to get that exam environment. So like you have to get exposure. If you don't get exposure, like you won't understand how it feels to write an exam. Then the purpose I saw that the teachers were very good. One, it was a free coaching in Secret Heart to free coaching of 5 kan tikidan pat kinong hikay kati yung Secret Heart makihikay ba kinong hikay na dekada dan nung kita dan lagi nung hikay sa Kishan but sa Joy dan nung tupak nang I picked up so many tricks and shortcuts kan moreover what helped me the most was mga hikay tuition din. Then October, I started giving SSC again. Initially, for mga high SSC, the first prelims, I failed by 12 marks. But for 18, magtahin, hindi hadin pa na-pass the prelims. Tama nga siya mains, na lulas tang creative. Hindi na-clear pa kan the first exam, clear di ka SSC MTS. Then ayo posting pa siya and the months. Ni kung ta porbayo ta akman te hindi ka perkat pa adin yung pa na kemudian tadi ini usually ada apa yang ada masalah perkat ko siang ko PJ no ba rong ta ma perkat situation ni ta ma ong di siang ako thung ni chite te jangan tambal da kami nak result jang da banking dan buat ko then pass dan turun ayo first rank. So that was the first job bala join. Naba recently pa nga resign ako tulungan ng ayo hanya kan juga MBSC at the year. At the same time tulong ayo first rank. At the same time big yung sa wing result
First rank ka no kibaks eh.
I spot yung coach sining kan itin ta
Sige, mata issue ang ganun maroon kayo rito balik ng pat. Buwan makipos ang liya balay. Tikay ka advice ni na ba pet ni ba apply ang liya man baro ay di apply so kay saray ka bang laban niya bang sajit.
Okay. First thing ang fidi ban tip kan which kind of exam you're writing mo. Number of different exams have different levels ta. For example, when you are in exam, for example, the prepare ka SSC ka way, fila prepare ka SSC MTS, CGL, CHSL, all those mo. Tambalik from personal opinion ang kaibang ang laglata fi prepare SSC, fila automatically la prepare ka MPSC. No matter more or less the same. And the question paper ang pattern ko like the four main subjects there. You have your maths, your reasoning, your English, and your general awareness or your GK. So one must at least be average in all that. You don't need to be a master of one. You just need to be average in all to English. Pass the pattern. No matter it does not depend on only one paper. Let's see if you get English. Dapat itu kiway pa from yung count that because they are gonna count the overall marks ta.
That when to argue, can you tell us the list of exams you pass on the exam that you able to select? How mas? Kaya mas?
Kaway tali itong
Ban ang ka iyo ka select ano please?
South tali ito kita na after ki interviews pa nga
Can you give us the list of that?
ito lingkong nakiliya siya dyan ka SSC MTS day. Tula siya HT then next
Saan naman?
to ka CGL means mga siya but kin diagno di siya dagi pass ka means mga siya select the next into ka TSC grade 4 nga pass dan ang taga TSC ground na pass siya sabeng dan ang taga TSC ground siya bako pass ka rin dan mga kandidato siya kasi people na mga ba kaya siya mayroon dan naman bang mga kachupa porong kimi results dadadap ko to TSC mayroon to sa banking na pass lang siya select hadin juga ni Meghalaya house pian ru mapas ka LDE ru mapas teka borbalen interview itu dah wah itu ang no pas gini we nong tamam beli nong berkualan itahin tu pas gitu asli kita juga tu vinor house nong kiran kita juga field assistant ru ngakam leta nak pilih so juga ni ka CTE tamatang hapso so comments kan CTE tadang tansyo kiwi exams at the moment ang kita yung magandang mga kundis din
Bata kalau ini kan problem bos. Ya bisa kayak asal budget. Mana kayak pen kuat itu mana budget itu was the main decision making dia.
Kalau Adam no kayak kalau nong I needed more time to study because like I feel like I can do much more better ta. Haya betul kung baong iba mga previous episode ba wala di finish lang na panapor nong data ba sakot ng nong never settle for less. If you know you can do well, push yourself. Tama, there comes a point in time pat ba fi hapde kan tete yung limit. Nung di ba siya kwarahan ng mga ting-ting different people have different thinking capacities. So kita penborban, we have to understand already kajing nong humble dan kantan kanong filahul. Nomor tenteng sebab filah yo ang tu filahul. Lagi perlu pat even though kita know officers kita know dia mungkin 4 tahun data. So that is one thing in which I'm trying to practice for myself. So just speaking of strategy wise and all that one, it's a very simple long.
Now once you break down in simple language, you can no iti pass ng man pass that no aba kung mga amune pili hindi type person man sa idea kameraban create sa Islam to at hindi DJing ili parla tapi sa them put the other things in there and then many other activities like like in a like explain to us your day-to-day routine for people that got more serious how do you manage with having fun and enjoyment but the listening party is going
I think like Juliet alam na come on, usually I make a study table, like a routine. But it's like not like the same one for the entire week. Like I shuffle subjects in between. I'm thinking what I'm on that day. Then I do some other things. For example, on a day-to-day basis, let's say like in the morning, I do English. So I'm not supposed to I won't study exactly 1 hour. What I'll do is I'll study half an hour. When the sun home then let's study biyang mga follow Pomodoro ta. On that technique, it's basically like you take a rest in between, no daily exercise or session, rest between sets. It's almost similar to that. And when you recover, you can na matafik 1 hour tigang, I'm telling you, 100% you're gonna study. More like 90% you're gonna forget. That's why the Pomodoro, but kandiyan, feel like long tapping. It helps with your routine routine. So kalimutan siguro English kung 1 hour, then I'll take maybe after 2 hours I'll study another subject, let's say maths or practice. Then after that I'll do the same thing for GK, and then for let's say reason just maximum 4 hours in a day. I mean, if you're sick or if you are with the won't come just 2 hours, so it's more than enough. Then just imagine kung ba-off yung siya but na bibli ang biro ba juli ka kapag nga kamsyon serious as na but cycling ko na land nung siya parlo ko land nanta pwede kaling-kaling din ito, pwede trekking, pwede youth, pwede live, pwede yun ito, pwede video shoot, DJing, yung tulog. Tama lang. Kalang lang. It's not necessarily ba kung ba-offer ba siyong kang na iyo. So it depends maybe if you're a person bang suwa pa bang doon tato niya, maybe you can lock yourself. But I'm not the type of person who comes out and you have classic coffee. But then, so it depends from person to person. Kind of like, if you feel like you need rest, take rest. No one's gonna stop. It's not like it's the end of the world. But it's just like you have to be consistent. And gym, so we have to be consistent every week and hard. Even though, let's say, you cannot lift certain lifts today, maybe you just do light work, but still you're lifting, right? The same concept applies to studying or in whatever trade you're doing.
So there was a time ba ang talong ba academic exam or school ba? Kaya give up na. So how did you cope with that? How did you find a solution to that? Don't keep on talking about it. So kaya lang ang nasyo.
One thing is, point I feel like, oh, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. This is not meant for me. Anything. Like the thing is, I have friends and I have family. Those two things. Friends who long kiyarap ta king TV in IA, like I can isolate myself. That's one thing more. And I'm blessed to have family but no supportive and friends ta. Long we try to push each other then I don't want to see my friend settle for less if I know he can do much more better. But we push each other. Now we help each other and we don't judge that. We don't care, we don't judge. No, we feel happy there for you. But the one thing is that we try to push each other to the limit. Share resources, like friends matter, friends and family. And sometimes, I want alone time. So what I do is I'll just take a walk here and there. Sometimes, complain, Tanawan refresh ka pa.
Fresh.
Then layo lang
Important to take breaks, eh?
important to take breaks. Pas pang ang feel taking a kan gitu ke you ang depression eh ru nong da ta long ban isolate handu kam hai ka
Kaganda niyo ta.
ki long ki por before bala you battery depression
Have you been diagnosed by that?
depression and situation na din ang childhood trauma and all that man dan
How do you cope with it? Let's say when people struggling with depression,
now the thing of friends that we have the right set of friends, you support your friends. Don't isolate yourself too much. Kataki, and then pray. God is there. He's always listening. That even though we feel like He's not there, He's always there. That like the closer you get to God, no more it helps that. I wouldn't be able to do all of this if it wasn't for Him. Just imagine long other people that same on them done made and done partially end up doing nasty things and all that. Luckily, I feel like I'm blessed that God's there for me. That's why I know like everything is because of Him.
sure time there's a little national kanyang tama in castle. So is linked to to passing the exams like you and you need to be like the top officer and something like that. What are the main three key things that you advise him to follow so that he can reach this goal?
First things first is like I'll go first. Maybe I have more than okay. First things first is like know your capacity or know your limit, because again like some people they sell these false ideas that like everyone can do it, but reality is not everyone can do it. Like that's a factor. Like they want to put down your level, you have to know your levels. If you know you can go for higher posts or whatever, then do it. No one's stopping you. But like you should go, let's say like the physical through like don't push yourself on something that you burn out. Another of you along the class when you class yourself in long anxious or short that's the first thing that you should know your
How do you cope with burnouts?
I make music, then I read books. No, they must crack got in puli day novels, pet movies, one also work pet movies. For example, downloading a lot of the rings, binge watch. For no, think binge watch a lot of the rings, Tata yang prepare interview dan kat selalu kat dulu bagai lungdang kipor untuk basik lang. It's not about crack. Just like if you do the same thing repeatedly, you get tired. I think so. So the first thing is know your. The second thing is, for example, know what kind of exams can you preparing. Like don't just prepare blindly. Should go for what hit bike hunter for your hit banda da bajaj. Nong tang if you go specifications you got mahaya tamo for hit ko ka. So the second thing is you have to know your what type of exams, and you have to be specific with what exams in the sense of if you prepare SSC straight to that. Don't mix up that. Mix up for example, for higher level exams you have to write wrong, so your thought process it's different that. And while writing the exams you should be calm. Napor man ikaw nang mabato nga panik kada sa exam fitur time por late panik na tadi na to panik hibo pa sa
Like you know all the answers.
you know everything you know but you don't when it comes to like panik na pito but sa achieve untan de daw like when you go like lempe ka jing long calm pray first before you write. That is one thing which I do, and I highly recommend people doing that long time. Bible to all James verse or James 1 verse 4. If you ask if you need wisdom, you have to ask from the Lord. I don't know exactly if you seek wisdom, you don't doubt. You should not doubt. Namasisin mo sila pan, if you even kita.
Cuman paling tahu ang kita ka panik exam. What are the common mistakes or bagaimana baik nak bagaimana di isang miladi for example mari kini tu nama feel what are the common mistakes lah.
Kau first things first, kumangkam prayer semua dan banangkam dan prayer. Number 2, at baik OMR shape. Number thing you bagi blue thing suppose for example question 1 feature kaman mangin if is circle you. Now we have to listen first to the instructions given by the instructor. I know thinking of long experience, but long kind of cocky. Even in those cases, feel he knows everything, but then tang nagadawa long tama you bakama. So that's the second thing. Then one day before the exam, like if you can don't read so much, or else you just panic in naman. So you cram everything on that single day. It's
One day before exam, what do you do?
check relax, chill, relax, kunta. Tentang naman kualik kayo.
Kung normal na yun,
No normal thing. Why to pressure yourself too much? No, that's one.
pag-iingay ka na, especially mo siya for school life. So, few hours before exam, ani, panik, isay jigpat siya consult. Isay panik, run to the point to ba, ang tuwi doon na malaki kay. Dan ba ito, siya mong to, siya ka, na ka rin na, alam mo pala.
Nung bitsa, from Mikroy. Jadi, betapa dong Mikroy, cuba tu pernah ada mana ada Shillong lah untuk mengiru ada tu exam tabah, ada tu competitive exam so kim satu Mikroy as a thing. Kita tu tim bola, dan nong tama biswa ada Mikroy yang tu pemlat, betapa ada Mikroy waktu pemlat. Nong tama ni ada reversing.
Ketika successful, ayaw mo yung time, ayaw mo some change, how they talk to you, how they treat you, and as a change na.
Somewhat you can say like the respect level and nature pagdadang struggle pagdadang prepare guru long hard ang they sure but then not as much that they got to bastang pass multiple exams like not and I kada lang people change with time. That's why I told you if you have good friends papang who very supportive, though it's still the same to them, so that's why lang keep a close company kan. Dogs kadang lang tintin ko siya dyan kat ba triple ko kung karanchil kay 1 year support to ba you one dyan no pat
Alam mo, sorry, talo siya.
no ta sa to ba long ba pagli na di siya marong siya no tama siya dang give one text Instagram kung mo fi pass ni exam no nga yato resources taba like I set manang it depends on you that how you study ba Shigo paano if the same set of books to study on your way of thinking and my way of thinking well what works for me might not work for you. Sometimes here and there like general tips might work one and I overall but it might be different some people might need kabangan na yaladi and may max 4 hours then we play what we don't come proud and nung gasyong atat kung thinking level can go on with you but at the end of the day but it's still the same exam you should go if you pass through competitive exams so usually it's not about the one who but you ay kakam kan tang but you ay kakam it's not exactly you ay marks and you have to cross the cutoff sujaran kat ba mentapa ko competition ngala cerita ki pre hai ganaw ga kasaya kan so that's why kita half marks and they maybe 5-10 years back competition was low so that's why it was easier to get a government job back then
Kita achieve ni kan ya. You Kyrmen, now what is the bigger dream? What is the big dream? Sakay ko ang dagay ko na.
I'm still lost because I'm
Still very young. Buwan na iba yan. Ang buwan na po.
nadang buat tu betul tempat nong ko ay ba nong layos ng any officer level nong wanita and because at the same time I want to enjoy life not just study ta at the point
Alam po naman ang video.
at then because at the moment I feel like na Shillong study just for the sake of it. It was no longer fun. That's one more thing which I wanted to say. But if you study, it should be fun. It's not
From you kan should buat tu tak.
Kadang kalau like speaking now mau ngiladi maybe one or two exams no mga kuai emang ako kentaran option exploration of Thanos ke har 6 infinity okay 6 infinity still azal dan lang sa wala possibly dan ko dito so na tamang ko ang bansa snap pa kung tuwa pa non yo asyo ka ko ni long completely rin sa mga snap pa kan not mentally snap or not snap and anything na now Musta na tayo. That's just one of my personal goals daw. At least clear 6 exams. Then, biya, yung ilang asato ng event. And maybe if possible, kung hindi na po na din yung alak kay coaching mo, I want to. Like, if I can do that, why not? Others can.
You lang to.
Natanawa ko niya, this, why not? Nung event.
Kung mga previous episode, isa lang ba kasi may issue kung yung kumakiga. Adila, adila so sarang mga magmitang 1% every 10 years.
Atin Jaffe.
Lawa may issue every time.
Kaway ba mas tunan ba long kidakan long in one way they're very competitive town. The thing is I feel like most people put not like that, and no, not just in government exams or maybe in other fields with that, because sometimes competition pushes us to be the best. And that's the thing. You need competition actually, because without competition, but like for example, kikali kipopero kaya mi kawai si mi kamastang mi sa kawai don't compete with along with that.
Yeah, what is your final message before we wrap this up to everyone tuning in? But by kampang ki, laban ni ko ay kana kaya ba everyone.
Just one small thing. It's one way. I don't know from when. But, it says like if you want to taste success, you need to know what failure tastes like. Because success and failure can correlate. Stand and work hard, study hard, and do your best in everything.
All the very best. Thank you so much. Because of long I play bro I lupa ini ka episode layo semua lagi last twitch panggil dia jeng kermen buat ini kita aku apply ki government exam aku on pass all types of exams in government. It's not impossible from on Kyrmen lawan dia be lawan badan time jong pi anam daerah badan kamu long so brilliant so crazy mah lawan badan ciri kata dia waktu usian dia ini hal lawan ma approach Kyrmen lawan masih sekarang ni sebut ilim boroi bayo ni. Dia tentang English word saya kena buat kau episode English word yang kuat. Bagi kita share orang